It's been a while since we've done an unboxing video, so just got a new guitar in, and let's unbox it, shall we? Also, sometimes my dad watches these videos, and so if you're my dad and you're watching this, I will not make my bed, but I will call you later. So if you've seen from the title by now, you can tell that this is an NK 7-string headless guitar. This is not my first headless guitar, and actually, it's not my first NK either. Matter of fact, the first headless guitar I ever played, ever owned, and the guitar that got me into headless guitars as a concept was an NK. And I'll probably try and put a photo of it somewhere here. But that guitar kind of, was the first step for me into realizing, like, whoa, headless guitars are really crazy and really cool. So I got that guitar, and the bridge hardware was really gross. Like, you had to crank it to get it to tune with like a little crank that, magnetized to the side of the bridge casing or whatever. And I didn't like that, but this has a different style of hardware, which is a lot more similar to what I'm used to with like my 10S guitars or the Harley Benton. So let's pull this out and let's see what it looks like. Also, since I'm now here with my scissors, I guess now is as good a time as any to send a shout out to my friend Zaid, who sent me this guitar. Obviously not for free, I bought it off of him, but for a very good price. Homie definitely really hooked me up, so thank you, Zaid. And one last thing before we pop the box open and we see this guitar. If you guys like this hoodie that I'm wearing, this is my band's merch. We have a new merch shop, and you guys can go in there and get any sort of stuff with this design. We have hoodies, shirts, bags, masks, hats, whatever you need, you can get. So if you want to buy some of this stuff, it really helps us out, and you look really cool while you wear it. I've been living in this thing basically for the past couple weeks since I got it, so that just goes to show the quality and how cool the design is. In any case, dramatic reveal. Let's see the cover. There's another box. So it comes in this nice little case. It's not super padded or anything like that, but that is actually pretty slick for a guitar in this price point. Alrighty, now let's have a look at this bad boy. That is exceptionally pretty. Look at that. Dude, holy crap. That is... okay. Wow. That's impressive. Okay, so we have 7-string, and I don't have the specs directly in front of me, so we'll probably take this to the desk in a minute just so I can give you guys the specs and I can read them off the website as best I can. But looking here, we have a roasted maple fingerboard. We have the back of the neck, which is all kinds of different woods, and the fingerboard is a little bit more cooked compared to the what I assume is also roasted maple on the back. Like, it's very obvious to see where one goes to the other, because this maple is very dark and it isn't actually very consistent across the neck, but I am not too pressed about that at all because this is really pretty. And right off the bat, switch feels nice. It's a push-push coil split, which I think is really cool. I think push-pulls are kind of archaic because you have to like reach for it and like pull it out as opposed to just like hitting it really quick. And then naturally the headless hardware here and 2 pickups. And yeah, let's take this to the desk. All right, so we're sitting at the desk now with the nice sort of studio lighting, and you can get a better look at this instrument. This is the NK 7-string headless guitar, and from what I can tell from the specs, and it was kind of difficult because I didn't find the exact model. I think there's some variety, and there's also a level of like customization you can do when you order. So I don't know if this model per se has been like given any custom treatment or anything like that, but it seems like this particular model, at least, is maybe not available in this configuration currently, at least with like the same finish and stuff like that. So we have ash body, and I believe some kind of maple veneer, probably like flame maple veneer, exclusively on this sort of shield bit, and then this part is probably contoured off with the veneer. And we have a 25.5-inch scale on the treble side, and then, oh, I just had it, 26.5-inch scale on the bass side. So again, fan fretted instrument, which is my preference at this point. We have Artec humbuckers, 7-string humbuckers, which are like not exactly like the cheapest. I know that Artec is kind of like the lower end of like the aftermarket pickups, so they're not like terrible, but are they as good as like Seymour Duncan, DiMarzio, Lundgren, and like all those like, you know, modern pickup brands? I guess we'll find out. Like, I haven't plugged this guitar in, like we're literally doing this as we go. So we have 3-way toggle, push on the volume, which I thought it would be on the tone, but I guess it's on the volume, which is fine. And then, yeah, I'm really interested to see what this neck sandwich is, but it doesn't seem to say. This sort of red streak near the middle might be purple part, but I feel like that's not right. So yeah, that is at least what I could find in terms of the specifications on this instrument. If I find the exact same one, then I will post a link to that in the description so you guys can see exactly what the specs are, but I feel like these are mostly consistent for the most part. It would just be nice if I could find a bit more information on it, but we will make do with what we have. In terms of fit and finish, this is pretty clean. Keep in mind that I did buy this, I think, second or third hand, so that I am not the original owner. So there's a couple dings in the paint, but really tiny. There's a little scratch there, little nick here, little dent there. But for the most part, it's pretty damn clean. There's a little bit here of the opaque finish where the grain is showing through. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I don't think it is. And yeah, overall, it's pretty clean for, you know, the price that you're getting. Like, I'm not seeing anything particularly wrong with the frets. And these actually might even be stainless steel, but I'm not certain on that. They might just be nickel. So we have lumen lay dots on the face and on the side of the neck too, which is really helpful, especially if you're playing on a dark stage, which I hope to be doing someday, hopefully. And yeah, let's tune this bad boy up and see how it sounds. All right, so a couple things that I noticed before we get into the actual sound test. That I noticed after I stopped looking at the fit and finish and plugged it in and tuned it up and everything. First and foremost, it was tuned a half step down and then drop tuned, so like drop G sharp, I believe, or A flat, yeah, whatever. And harmonics, music theory. And so typically I know you're supposed to slacken the strings when you ship it, but it was interesting that it came like almost in perfect pitch, just in that tuning, like when I pulled it out. So I guess that kind of attests to how sturdy this bridge hardware is. Another note, this is like the exact same bridge hardware as on my 10S, the walnut colored one. So it's the exact same bridge pieces, and seems to be about the same in terms of style and everything like that. There's some minute differences, but nothing really crazy. Second thing to note, the pickup adjustment screws are hexes as opposed to like a Phillips or like a flathead. They're hexes, like something you'd approach with like an Allen key or something like that, which is kind of inconvenient. Like that wouldn't be my first choice in terms of hardware, but it's not anything super negative. There's a little chip in the paint up here on the upper bout. When I get B-roll, I'll try and focus in on any sort of blemishes like that. The selector switch is a little loose, but that's the kind of thing where I can crack it open and get it, you know, tightened a bit, and it should be good. The output jack, the output jack is in a really cool spot, especially since I use like mostly wireless packs. and then, you know, like right angle cables when I'm using cables. So it's actually like a really nice spot, so if you're playing in like a classical seated position, it doesn't get super in your way. At least if you're using a right angle cable like I am, it's really nice. Bridge hardware feels nice. It's a little jumpy here and there, but nothing too crazy. And the pickups actually sound shockingly good, in my opinion. I mean, I came into this with the idea that I was going to swap them out, but I'm not sure that I need to. So I might anyway, just out of personal preference and just so I can test out new fun stuff. But the pickups sound shockingly good. Like a little flubby in the low end, but like not, like it's not a deal breaker. Like it's not that bad. Like if you know, my band doesn't do particularly like genty tight music, so like these pickups would be passable for that. Clean tones, the split coil tones sound actually really good, and there's not a ton of volume drop when you engage that. And these frets are also really nice. They're like really rounded off, which is really cool. The one thing I'm gonna have to get used to and might have to do a little bit of a setup is that the action is actually really flat and probably flatter than I would like. I usually prefer low action, but it's actually kind of, it's like there's no fret buzz to speak of, but it just feels a little low. I don't know. Point being, this guitar is really friggin' cool. Like, I paid, you know, just slightly less than what it would cost new because it's in such good condition. But it's just a really sick guitar, man, and I'm really enjoying this. So let me plug in and play you guys something. I'll come up with something really quick, but overall, like already, I'm really stoked about this guitar.